What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Suzanne Vega, and we're returning to the 1985 self-titled album. Thank you, as always, to Sophia. And the next track we're going to listen to, which is further to say I've been jumping around a bit between this album and Solitude Standing, and in the last couple reactions, I'm just picking them based on titles and the way a title strikes me and thinking about what it might relate to. And yes, we're going to listen to Freeze Tag, which, at least on the surface, sounds like the game you play when you're kids, where tag, a game where you chase someone, make contact with them, and they become it. Freeze tag is a game where the person who is tagged has to remain still, and I forget exactly the rules. I'm sure they may vary from region to region or among different groups of children, but yes, the idea is that it introduces an element of immobility into the game, and thus someone is frozen as it relates to the ability of other people in the game to move around. And I feel like that's very fertile ground for emotional metaphor or interpersonal / romantic analog. So yes, I would expect it to play upon the physicality and visual character of the game, but maybe as it relates to grown-up experiences and relationships. I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Suzanne Vega. The track is Freeze Tag, and it's part of her 1985 self-titled debut album.
The sun is fading fast upon the slides into the past, upon the swings of indecision in the wintertime, in the dimming diamonds scattering in the park, in the tickling and the trembling of freeze tag in the dark. We play that we're actors on a movie screen. I will be Dietrich and you can be Dean. You stand with your hand in your pocket and lean against the wall. You'll be Bogart and I will be Bacall. And we can only say yes now to the sky, to the street, to the night. So fade now to black. Play me one more game of chivalry, you and me. Do you see where I've been hiding in this hide and seek? And we go to the playground in the wintertime. The sun is fading fast upon the slides into the past, upon the swings of indecision in the wintertime. Wintertime, 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 wintertime. We can only say yes now to the sky, to the street, to the night. We can only say yes now to the sky, to the street, to the night.
A shorter one. So yes, I think there is some conceptual lyricism happening here, but I feel like it's more literal or direct than I expected, though again, the idea of casting your mind back to your youth and what those experiences may have represented or felt like with an adult framework or perspective on it, I think can still be seen as somewhat metaphorical, even if you're referring to literally going to playgrounds at night or as the sun's going down and having to say yes to, what is it, the street and the night. But yes, it sounds like, number one, she's referencing multiple games, not just freeze tag, but also hide and seek. And then she is using metaphorical language, or at least simile, when it was a metaphor, because I don't think there was a like or as, but the swings of indecision, I really like that. Swings go back and forth, they go up and down, but there's a lack of consistency to what direction you're moving in, what your elevation is, when you stop, when you start. So I feel like the swings are perhaps particularly well suited to that metaphorical phrasing. But yeah, it sounds like maybe she is referring to the experiences of youth, and again, as someone who's played games like that, when it gets dark and there's a sense that, you're, number one, more free or more out in the open than you are during the day when there are more people around, more adults, perhaps, people supervising you or watching over you. There's a sense of maybe not it being more risky, but certainly of it being less controlled and confined than playing on a playground in the daytime in the context of school, or again, a park where there are many adults and parents around. And again, I played games like that. We played a game here in Southern California, maybe this is a phrase used elsewhere, but ditch 'em, which is sort of like tag, but essentially, and hide and seek combined, where people are allowed to go out and to hide and try to elude capture, and then the person who's it has to go find them. But because it's nighttime and there's less visibility, there's an added dimension to it. I do feel again like this is maybe using the physicality and visual experience of freeze tag, of hide and seek, to speak to more grown up or longer term ideas and perspectives. I do especially love the way she hits the lines. It was like she's galloping or sort of rolling over the lines. They're a bit outside the normal rhythmic pocket, and then there was that repetition in relation to winter, and I do wonder whether that seasonal setting is referring to the way it tends to get darker earlier during winter, and perhaps that's part of why they're out this late, or not even necessarily this late, but why the visual setting is what it is. But yeah, she spoke to the tremors, and what was the other word, of freeze tag, and again, I wonder whether that physical or kinetic dimension is something that's being extrapolated into a broader or conceptual style meaning. I do love the, again, guitar poet type of sound. I promise at some point I'll stop comparing her to Joni Mitchell, but this is another one where I feel that vibe very strongly. And yes, as I said, it felt like a very short tune. Yeah, about 2.5 minutes. So definitely one where there was a lot happening during that relatively short duration, and I wonder whether this is a personal, anecdotal, autobiographical type of tune where she is literally thinking of her youth and the way she saw it by the time she was writing this tune, or whether it's reflective or characteristic of the things children do and perhaps what that means about either youth or maybe human nature more broadly. I am really intrigued by what I caught, even though I'm not sure exactly how to take the visual and narrative story that we heard. But yes, more art, poet, guitar, folk type of styling. So yes, I am curious or rather from those who are more familiar with her work, if this is another one that can be seen in light of some of the information that people know about her life or her songwriting. Maybe, again, this could be entirely created and characters, but maybe, again, reflective of what she's saying about people and children more broadly. In any case, I'll stop talking. Let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.